Good evening, everybody. Dan Man Walking 55 coming to you from the East Coast. Yes, we're a few minutes late tonight. Life has happened today for many, many people, and our friend JT will not be able to make it tonight. But hey, he sends his regards, and this is this time tonight. So we are. Thought I heard rain on the roof, but hey, we are here. We are live, and we're going to talk about the games that matter to you, whatever you want to talk about, as well as going down the standard agenda of games that we had last week. Looking forward to next week, and uh, taking a look at the rankings out there. So we've got a lot to go through as usual. The more coaching changes, which is a very, very interesting, keeps everybody on their toes and stuff. Yeah, yes, OSU had such a tough game. Yes, their whole season is just so tough, isn't it? But good to see you, Deeple. So we're going to have fun tonight. We're going to go through the games. Maybe we'll not be so long. We'll see how this goes. Let's say hi to everybody. Legatus is in the chat lurking here. Snortapoopas was here earlier. Yeah, there you go. Snortapoopas here. Yeah. Like said, he'll be lurking. Got stuff to do. Hey, understand that, how life goes, how that happens. Snortapoopas was here earlier before he had to go to bed. So, Deeple, you're good here. Hey, good to see you too. How are you doing? Representing the Ohio State University, the only one that matters in the state of Ohio. And probably for this whole country is the way things are going in college football these days. But anyway, good to have you with us. Everybody that's here in the chat, thank y'all for being here tonight. We appreciate it. And let's go ahead and jump into the action. Last week, as we usually do, we take a look at last week's games first, and we'll take a look at that. Some of the breaking news of the week. Brian Kelly, or as JT calls Brian Smelly, it's a shame he's missing tonight because, yes, his favorite coach to hate, it was fired from LSU, which continues the carousel of coach changes, especially the SEC. That's up to 3 SEC coaches between Arkansas, Florida, and LSU. Rumors about the coaching situation at a school like Auburn. Who knows? It's not over yet. It's a long season. There's still more to go. During the week, the rumors are that Lane Kiffin was offered about $13 million a year from the University of Florida to make him the highest paid coach, but he's still coaching, so we've got to wait on that to see how that goes. So, as a Gator fan, I'm like, I would love it just because we need a coach with an edge, with an attitude, But rumors have abounded this week about Eli Drinkwitz from Missouri maybe going to Florida. So who knows? I mean, you got all these jobs opening up. Rumors have been up to maybe 40 job openings that could come up this off season, which is a staggering number. That'd be like a quarter of all the Division I teams that are out there. But all right, well, let's take a look today. We'll see how this goes. We'll take a look back last week. Yes, like you said, such a tough game. The whole season's a tough schedule, but this week you had the vaunted nobody. Which the meme this week was Penn State lost to the bye week. At least you didn't lose to the bye week, people. At least you didn't lose to the bye week. All right, well, let's take a look as we go down the games, as we look at the list of games that we had from last week. We've got Indiana comes up rolling over UCLA. UCLA won 3 games in a row, had gotten on a hot streak, but, ran into the buzzsaw, which is the Indiana Hoosiers. Not even close. Fernando Mendoza, who's quietly becoming a Heisman contender, passed for 168 yards. Really, this game was over early, and Indiana held serve. LSU, Nico, I'm going to leave you, was out. Take a look. 2 field goals UCLA managed in this game. And let's take a look at the stats in this game real good. Yeah, it was a match. Yeah, everybody plays bye week twice this year, and it's a dangerous matchup for everybody. Oh, Nico was 13 of 27 for 113 yards, 2 picks. So obviously he came back down to earth this week. Oh, man, they've got a backup quarterback named Mikey. All right. Wow. So obviously you can see statistically UCLA was held up just over 200 yards, while Indiana amassed almost 500 yards in total offense. Uh, this Indiana team seems to be for real. They beat Oregon. So we're headed towards what we know is going to be the Big Ten matchup for the Big Ten championship, which will be Indiana and Ohio State, which should be an interesting game. Last year, Ohio State dispatched Indiana very easily. This year, we'll see if it's a little bit of a tougher matchup they have. I know, Deeple, I'm sure you would at least like one competitive game that we, do in the year. So make at least one matchup good. The a significant game of the week, even though it was a blowout, Texas A&M goes to Death Valley, wins 49-25 over LSU. LSU is, perfect timing. Chewy's here. Hey, Chewy. So, folks, cannot wait for Cincy, Utah. Big 12 in terms who and matchups leading towards November. Absolutely. There's a lot of drama out in the Big 12. A lot of good teams there. It should be good. The Bearcats and BYU plus Houston is lurking as well. Absolutely, Chewy. Good to see you. So, yeah, and you had your one competitive game against Texas in week 1. Yeah, exactly. And, Arch Manning. Woohoo! Yeah. This game, Mike Elko goes on the road. This game was close early, and then the wheels fell off of LSU around halftime. And, of course, indicative play was a short pass just before halftime where the play didn't even go to the first down marker. So it's really telling. This game, Marcel Reed threw 2 picks, but was still threw for 200 yards, 2 touchdowns, and A&M ran the ball for 224 yards in this matchup. Again, Garrett Nussmeier, less than 10 yards of completion, 168 yards offense. You can sense the frustration on the LSU sideline watching them. So, hey, Mrs. Oh, it's a Mrs. Red. Hey, Tina, good to see you too. Hey, how are you doing? Hey, Mrs., how are you doing tonight? Oh, shoot, wrong one. Yeah, exactly. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, they fired Brian Smelly, as JT would say. They fired Brian Kelly. And Mrs., thank you for the raid. Yeah, all's good. Yeah, like you said, as long as you put up 100 against Michigan. That Michigan. Oh, I love the humor. I know that JT's going to be happy with that Ohio State Michigan week. In this game, though, we got. It was interesting to watch. Texas A&M ran away from it in the second half. Was indicative of the frustration of LSU was nearing halftime when LSU had to end up settling for a field goal while they were driving. A third down pass was not even thrown past the yard marker for the first down, and with time running out, and you could see the frustration on the sideline, and eventually A&M just pulled away in this game, dominated LSU, who has been carried by their defense so much this year, but your defense can carry so far without support from the rest of the team, without the offense, doing its job. A&M, I tell you, they're very impressive. A team I've liked to not respect over the years, really coming through, playing very consistently under Mike Elko. They've avoided any type of upsets, trip ups, or anything else. I love Coach O. I remember somebody was talking about this week about Go Tigers. I love that. I do. I'd take him anywhere else. I'd make him a defensive coordinator at least. I tell you one thing with Coach O, he loves whatever school he's at, and his passion. So, Chewy says Group of 5 had the better matchup with Memphis beating USF despite rallying from behind. There will be a factor on what's said. Group of 5 teams will be a factor of making it to the playoff. Yeah, we're gonna have to wait and see when the actual playoff polls start coming out. When we do that, then we will. It'll be interesting to see who's there. I actually saw one where you could have like a Tulane and there was another team involved. If things worked out, it'd be like 2 Group of 5 teams. Which you wonder how the heck could that happen, but I guess if people extend everything out, and if things work out just right, they could actually happen. It could actually happen. So, all righty. Let's go down here. 10 of y'all watching. Yay. Thank you. 3 on the Twitch side. We appreciate it. Make sure you follow us over there if you haven't. Hit the like and subscribe on this side too. We appreciate the support from everybody. So feel free. If you got questions, comments, Chewy, what do you think about the firing of Brian Kelly? I mean, what have you heard over there? And some people were surprised at the timing, but some people were not, with the timing of, right on the heels of such a bad performance, especially in the second half. A lot of frustration with this LSU team, especially for its offense that people had a lot of hype and hope for to carry the team this year, has never manifested. There's a lot of talk with a lot of frustration in the LSU program about the strength training coach who Brian Kelly fired, who is now at Texas A&M, and along with other events, and talk about his staffing decisions and disagreements with the athletic department, and which led to his ultimate dismissal. So, as I said, 3 SEC teams have coaching vacancies. So that's what it looked like. The team quit. The second half they just died. It got bad. I turned the game off because it was just. But I will tell you, I do think that Michael Van Buren is a decent quarterback if you play to his strengths. So they have the chance to. The season's over in terms of national championship, SEC championship, that type of stuff. But we'll see. We shall see how they do. Chewy said, by the way, I watched that game in full. LSU hung in there, but LSU failed to make any adjustments on all sides in the second half. Defense failed to slow down Reed and could not get out on third downs. I understand that frustration very, very much. Let's see. Offense failed to convert on many third downs, and the first time special teams was god-awful. Yeah. You lost on every side of the ball. But it was something, if you pay close attention, look how A&M and the players were lining up. They looked menacing, and LSU was like that of an FCS school. Yeah, especially in the second half. I think when that game started getting away, you could really see the difference in the two teams. It really manifested itself. But Chewy's watched this team. This is his team, and that's been one of the criticisms, like of a coach like Billy Napier, is there's no adjustments. There's no doing something different in the second half, no changing your game plan. And eventually it catches up with you. As I understand it too, he wouldn't make changes in coaching staff. So led to his dismissal. Meanwhile, he did make other changes in the past that actually upset a lot of LSU fans. But don't feel sorry for him. The buyout, buyout was about $50 million, but as I understand it, he got out for a little over $20 million. They came to an agreement on that with the buyout. So, it'd be nice to get those buyouts, which again is another topic for another day. We talk about NIL, we talk about the portal, but the size of these coaching buyouts. Jimbo Fisher is still $70-something million with Texas A&M on the heels of Kevin Sumlin. If you look at all the others, Gus Malzahn was also over $23 million, and that's a few years ago at Auburn. Just all the buyouts, and you talk about money in college football. It's just amazing. It's amazing. All right, well, let's keep going down to the games from last week. We got Alabama went on the road to South Carolina. And this game got close. This game was really, really interesting. You see that Alabama pulls away with the win 29-22. Ty Simpson threw for 253 yards. What was interesting, though, South Carolina had a 22-14 lead and lost it in the last 2 drives of the game. Alabama, give them credit. This is a team that lost the first game of the year to a FSU team that we now see as a fraud. Not the team that they were ranked high in the top 10, and the the rest of the season is tanked on them. But uh, the rumors of the Crimson Tide demise is greatly exaggerated and very premature. So we got that was an interesting game to watch. South Carolina, Shane Beamer, son of Frank Beamer. Well, another loss, another disappointment in this season for the South Carolina Gamecocks, who were in the top 10 at one point and had a lot of promise and a lot of expectations built on this team. And this is a potential of another coach that, if he survives this year, how long does he last? Some rumors about he could be in line at Virginia Tech, where his father was coach. Well, it might be the time of him to get out of there. And hey, Wade, good to see you. Let's go Beavers. Let's go Beavers. Hey, they finally beat Lafayette, which is, that's, anyway, that's not even a win really last week. But hey, good to see you. Oregon 6-8. Oregon beats Wisconsin 21-7. And really, let's take a look at this game real quick. Let me make sure I'm going to mute the tab so none of the audio comes through earlier. So, but we got 21-7. The Ducks win. Really an ugly game. 7-0 at the halftime. 132 yards for passing for Oregon, which we not expected that kind of anemic offense. But 132 yards combined with two quarterbacks. Hunter Simmons for Wisconsin, 7-21, 33% completion, 86 yards. This is like an Iowa game, but Oregon did run for the ball for 203 yards, so they massed over 300 yards of offense. Wisconsin about 200. Of course, the Badgers fall to 0-5 in the conference. Oregon's up to 4-1, still chasing Indiana and Ohio State, which Oregon needs Indiana to lose twice since they lost head-to-head. These stats really, even for Oregon, these stats are just horrendous. But you expect more points, you expect more offensive yardage, more output with an Oregon offense. But the one thing that Wisconsin is known for is its defense, though. So at least if they could just get some offense. I always criticize when we had former Wisconsin quarterback in Florida the last 2 years. It's like, no, we don't want a Wisconsin quarterback. You think so? You think so, Wade? There's no way they will. I tell you what, I hope. My hope is that Jonathan Smith gets fired at Michigan State, where there's a lot of talk and calling for that for him. That's another possible coaching vacancy coming up, and he decides to return to Oregon State and stay there forever. So, one of the teams I like personally to watch, Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech goes in Atlanta, hosts Syracuse, wins 41-16. Haynes King throws for 304 yards. Really a fun team to watch if you get a chance to watch Georgia Tech. Still undefeated in the ACC. Will it last? Will they win the conference championship? Who knows? But they are cruising for the matchup at the end of the year against the Georgia Bulldogs, which would be an interesting matchup to see of top 5 teams maybe at that point. Maybe this year to beat the Dogs. But shall see. Ole Miss, Lane Kiffin, the man of the hour, the most popular coach in the SEC, the most news stories. How many different places, whether it's LSU, Arkansas, Florida, that could land him as a replacement coach? Go on the road. They beat Oklahoma 34-26 in this game. Trinidad Chambliss threw for 315 yards. And, I will say this is a good win for Ole Miss. With Lane Kiffin. One thing I've always criticized is he loses the big games. Sometimes on the road. Well, he goes on the road. This was a very tough game against the Sooners, and he pulls out a nice win here on the road. So let's see. Chewy said, I had a big LSU fan make an appearance who was at the game in Tracy, and she got to take some video of the Tiger Walk, which is Brian Kelly's final Tiger Walk. After that, Vandy lost. Kelly was pretty much coaching for his job against A&M, and his actions did the talking. Nuss was up and down, Van Buren played, but it came way too late, but showed he can do something. Yeah, remember, Van Buren comes from Mississippi State. He filled in for Blake Shapen last year when Blake was uh, injured. And Van Buren, as a freshman, did pretty well uh, there and actually went on the road many times, played really good for Mississippi State. I, at this, I don't like seeing what happened to Nussmeier. I actually have liked Nussmeier over the years. But the question is, did he have the running game like Jalen Daniels had? It just, the LSU offense has been anemic. The running game has not been stellar, and Nussmeier, and the play calling, like it said earlier in the first half, at the end, that they throw a 3-yard pass on the flat when you needed 7 yards for a first down, and you're not going to win like that. That's too much Billy Napier offense. Deeple. Deeple. I love that. Can Alabama rehire Mike Price? Yes, there you go. Sam. Hey, Sam. How are you tonight? Good to see you. Your team is off this week. The great BYU Cougars. How are you? JT had a lot of stuff happen today. He's tied up tonight, and that's I will let him know he is missed. He made every effort, but he wasn't able to make it tonight. So, hey, you got me tonight. So it'll be different. Folks, if y'all have comments like Chewy, please throw some thoughts out there. If you have any questions about things mean, if you have any questions about the games, whatever you need to do, whatever you have, please go ahead, ask them. Don't hold back. And, this is kind of old school. You know what, though? But I tell you what, for all y'all that have not been around up until last year, my wife had made these wonderful, beautiful graphics because I was focusing on the SEC. I wish that I could still do those type of things, but just life has gotten in the way and time and everything. So now you get me showing from the ESPN website. But hey, I appreciate all y'all here. We got 12 people watching. Thank y'all so much. And you guys over on the Twitch side, as you've seen, you can contribute. Chewy's made several statements, and we bring it up and we have a discussion for everybody to look at on the stream itself. Hey, Fallout Dave, how are you tonight? I know. We've talked about the damn notifications all the time. It is what it is. So, all right, well, let's go next. Stanford goes on the road and plays at Coral Gables against the Miami Hurricanes. 9th-ranked Miami wins this game 42-7. Not much to say there. The game that Game Day went to, and you even had Pimp King from SEC Shorts there for it. Vanderbilt holds off Missouri. They win this game under 2 minutes, 17-10 with a 1-yard run by Diego Pavia. Oh, thank you. That makes my night. Say hi to Baby Cuteness also. I hope she feels better soon too. So it's okay. No, I've not ratted you out for Saturday. Thank you for reminding me. Well, I'll get to that when we get to that game then. How about that? So and I do too. YouTube is all kind of weird. I mean, then they take subs and then all of a sudden they just give them back. So it's all good. All right, let's see where we go. Missouri and Vanderbilt. This was an interesting game. Everybody had attention. I have officially declared Hades has frozen over. Yes. When you got Indiana number 2, I can live with that. What I can't live with is flipping Vanderbilt in the top 10. What the heck? And this is a team, and I'll give them credit. This is a team that I expected to do like last year, where they collapsed in the second half of the season and barely make the bowl games. But no, they're 7-1, 3-1 SEC, still in contention for an SEC championship game appearance, still in contention for the national playoffs. Bo Pribula, I think he got hurt in this game. 9-14, 68 yards for Missouri. Matt Zollers takes over 14-23, 138 yards. Diego Pavia was only threw 20 times, but for 129 yards. Looking at the running, Missouri did a great job containing Pavia, holding him to 130 yards and 20 yards rushing. That they did a very good job against him. You wonder what would happen if Primula had not gotten hurt in this game. Uh, but it would turn out to be a cool game. Missouri's falls to 6-2, 2-2 overall. But Vanderbilt, man, folks, Vanderbilt. There's something about this team, and it's a special team. We'll take a look at the rankings in just a minute, but I want to take a quick second, divvy off here, and look at the remaining schedule. They're at Texas Saturday. They host Auburn. They host Kentucky. Then they're at Tennessee in a big rivalry game. Wow. Can you imagine if Vanderbilt ran 4 in a row to end the season? That would be, wow. That just would be insane. So let me see up here. Oh, I hate when this happens. Vanderbilt being top 10 feels wrong. Almost bad as Western was in top 10. I agree. That's the way I feel. It's just not right. It's not right. And that's why I describe it as Hades has frozen over. With that. So let's see. Yeah, that's why I have it down, because it got video playing. That would be a copyright thing, all that crap. We don't need that tonight. But Vanderbilt, yes, I agree with that. Chewy was responding. Look, LSU's biggest glare was looking at the strength of the team. Tommy Moffitt, that's the strength coordinator, was a key as a strength coach, because when you look at this version of LSU, they don't have that fear factor, whether we were hyped or overhyped in years past. By the way, Missouri played good enough, but lost a QB late in the game. Neither passing game for Missouri and Vanderbilt was wow. It was who could dominate the ground. Absolutely. And that's well said. And yeah, it's just, you hate when the quarterbacks get knocked out of a game, but it happens. You got to improve and go forward. That Dave says, Madhouse. It's a Madhouse, Planet of the Apes. All right, Sam. All right, Sam. Here we go. We're going to that game. I got to watch the last end of it, where BYU wins this game 41-27 over Iowa State in a tough road test for BYU. It really, really was. It was it turned out to be an easy win at the end, but it was. It took a while to get there, folks, because Iowa State had a 24-17 lead at half, 17-7 in the first quarter itself, and then BYU outscores Iowa State 24-3 in the second half. Bear Bachmeier throws for 300 yards, 2 touchdowns, while Rocco Beck matched for 311 yards for Iowa State, but he threw 3 interceptions on 1 touchdown. Iowa State ran for 184 yards, including Carden Hansen, 152 yards. I will say I was surprised in this game. BYU, in most of the games that I've watched so far this year, had to run the ball. They ran first before passing. They were more on the most games more run dominant. This showed that Bear Bachmeier can throw the ball, and he needed to use his arm to win, and he did. Congratulations to BYU. Yeah, Sam Wolf had the whole family was all stressed out with this game. Absolutely. And stressed out is such a funny term, such a funny term with that. Let me see. I am bringing it up here real quick. Let's see where we go. Here we go. I'm trying to. Let's see. Here it goes. Saturday, I was out with the wife at Walmart getting some stuff, and it was like all of a sudden my phone started dinging. Yeah. All of a sudden I get, because I've been watching the game with Sam and her family, right, recently. All of a sudden I get a text, DM. This game is absolutely not worth watching. We just turned it on. The rest are calling all sorts of ridiculous crap on BYU. We won't call anything on the other team, including when they drag several of our players. The refs are playing favorites. Completely obvious. It's not going to be a fair game at all. I mean, it's like boom, boom. I got like 10 messages. It was hilarious going off. And then I got score rates 10-17. Yes. So they fumbled, recovered. They took the ball from us again. Every time they fumble, we recover the ball. The refs call something on us. I was like, boom, 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 boom. We got an angry face. Then this is why we need you to watch it with us. Like, get them out. It was so funny and cool. This is the first time, and I know, Mrs., if you're still really listening, you're going to probably laugh at that somebody else spammed the crap out of me. I'm usually the one spamming somebody's phone. Sam was blowing up my phone. It was hilarious. I was like, she was apologizing, and I'm like, "What? Don't apologize. You're awesome. You know, I deserve. I'm not one to say anything about anybody spamming. I can't say that because I ended up sending so many things to people. If you remember, a few weeks ago, JT read off my rampages during a Florida game. It was like da 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 bleep, da 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 bleep, da 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 bleep, and it was like a bunches of them. But of course, Sam is so nice. It was all nice, and that's what was so wonderful to see and to get that type of spamming. It was hilarious. I will tell you for sure. But again, BYU wins this game. It was a very tough test for this team. Are they a team of destiny? You could say it looks like it. I mean, they're taking everything that hits them and they go forward. So, Deeple, you're a big run guy. Woody Hayes said that 3 things can happen. 2 of them are bad. Well, that's how I feel about kickers. When these players try to take a knee and set up a field goal or playing for a field goal when you're like, could score the touchdown, is 3 things can go bad on a kick: bad snap, bad hold, bad kick. So but I tell you what, yeah, that style of spamming. Yeah, well, this person did it and enjoyed it, but it was okay. I tell you, I thought it was really, really neat that happened, and they're allowed to spam my phone or my Twitter DM anytime. And if you guys, y'all got stuff to share, follow me on Twitter at DadmanWalking55, and enjoy it. Enjoy the time, and I like getting new information, especially insight and stories. But all the time. I'm going to go through some of the other games really quickly. Texas Tech wins 42-0 over Oklahoma State. Virginia escapes North Carolina on a failed 2-point conversion by UNC in overtime. I mean, really, how long does Bill Belichick give this? How long will they be? Very disappointing. But Virginia survives another close game, 16th ranked, 17-16 on the road. And hello to the Eclectic Goat. Great to see you. Very good, very good to see you too. Oh God! When your brother sends you a text during the game, it's bad. Yeah, some of us do it. I've had a friend that I used to do that too. I've done it to JT. Sam has not yet experienced my Florida Gator rampages. So, other than when I yell them out here right now, neither has the goat. The goat might run. I don't just. I'm really looking forward to this week's Florida Georgia game because I'm actually with a new coach, even if he's an interim, and I'm also looking forward to watching it with somebody. A friend, which I've not had a chance to watch a game like that with somebody for a while, and it should be a fun time, and I'm really looking forward to that. There are numerous times that I've been banned by my brother where I cannot watch the game for several years because I didn't watch a game all season one year until I did and we lost. Yeah, yep, they blame you for being the bad luck charm. But I tell you what, I do understand that, Deeple, especially a team like yours that is so there's not anybody even close to putting up any opposition. Texas was a very weak opponent, as it turned out. They had no offense. And then it does get boring from week to week when it's not even competitive. You'd like at least a little bit of a challenge. And I understand that because the Tim Tebow games were kind of like that for a couple years when the national champion years, I think 06, 08, it just was so, it does get a little bit boring. But then again, I miss those days. So the Eclectic Goat is trying an experiment tonight. Oh, I wonder what the experiment is. Let's see. So you hated Tebow. Oh, God. would. I know either you loved or hated Tebow, kind of like the Peyton Manning. I absolutely despise Peyton Manning. Uh, yeah. So that I don't, you don't watch because it's fun, not fun. I understand. That's why I've kind of given up with Billy Napier around. It was boring. It's like I got better things to do. I tell you, watching the game with Sam and her family is much more interesting than watching. Uh, no, which thing with the way they overhyped him? I guess if you didn't hate Tebow on the field, but what ESPN did was it in terms of the overhype. I'm curious specifically why, because I tell you, I can understand that. That's how I felt about with Peyton Manning. I really felt that with Peyton Manning. It was like he couldn't do anything wrong, yet he couldn't beat Florida in 4 years, and over just overhyped. But he turned out to be a good NFL quarterback. Also, it depends on which one do you talk. Do you talk about Tebow in college or the Tebow in the NFL? Because I got many opinions on that in the NFL. Especially now when we're watching all these spread option offenses, when back then you couldn't run that offense. You had to get under center, take a center, be a pro-style quarterback. You had to. There were no choices. Yeah. Yeah, I know. That's kind of that's what I was wondering. Because, yeah, you can overexpose people, too. I mean, this one thing is a good story, but they got to sell ad time, and he was so hot, he got a lot of people's attention, and it just, I get that. I don't disagree. I understand that. Sam went for years not being able to watch football because I was the only one who was interested in it. Now the kids are older; it's more enjoyable. I love teaching them at a really, really young age because then you got them controlled. I did that with my kids. They did it. The problem is when they got older, they rebelled. So, hey, Jess. How are you tonight? Good to see you. Good to see you tonight. Hope you're doing pro-style quarterback rolls eyes. Yeah. Well, you had to, remember? You remember? You had to. So, all right, let's see. Okay, go to saying when I have trouble focusing on work, I can't listen to regular music because I just end up focusing on the words. So I listen to things in other language because I can't understand them. I can't listen to streams tonight because I keep getting distracted. So hey, that's all. That we're here to help. That's cool. That's cool. White noise, background noise, it's perfect. But I will tell you seriously, I can't work and listen to music. It just I can relax to music sometimes. I cannot go to sleep to music, and I cannot work to music. Somebody talking does it, but hey, go. That's fine. Tell me later how it works. Hopefully it works. So, yeah, but the three toddlers did not care. But you put them in nice little costumes and stuff. And you get food and make it a big party. But, yeah, Justin Fields is going through that same problem in his career. Yeah. See, I never liked Fields. Even at Georgia. But, I didn't like him at Georgia. I thought he was very overrated. And sports ball, of course, Fields lost the job at Georgia and leaves and never to return. So, all right. Yeah, Deeple says, I can work and listen to music when I don't wear headphones. When I do wear headphones, I'm much more picky. Yeah, I get you. Sam said, honestly, I thought some of the commercials are a little sketch for the football game. But then we watched the World Series game, and wow, sports commercials gotten far from being family friendly. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, let's take a look. Let's keep going down. Tennessee, the Volunteers, 17th ranked Tennessee goes on the road, beats Kentucky 56-34. Joey Aguilar, who's transferred from UCLA, where Nico, I'm going to leave you, came from, went to 396 yards on the day. Wow. Big dominant passing performance for Joey. UK finally scored points, but they had no defense for once. Usually Kentucky is carried by their defense, but Tennessee, with the hypo offense, is a lot of happy Volunteer fans tonight. Wins this game going away. Memphis upsets the 18th ranked South Florida Bulls in a close battle, in a big battle of five matchup. Memphis wins this game 34-31. Louisville wins at home over BC 38-14. Cincinnati dispatches Baylor 41-20. God, Sawyer Robinson was the leading passer, but only threw for 137 yards. That is interesting. Heartbreak game of the week again, folks. Texas beats Mississippi State 45-38 in overtime. Mississippi State falls to 4-4, 0-4 in the SEC. Another last-minute collapse. In the fourth quarter, they had a 14-point lead, and the game was tied up on a punt return by Texas to tie the game up. But Arch Manning, for all the everybody says he stinks and everything else, he's actually at least in this game he looked good. 29-46, 346 yards, 3 touchdowns and a pick. Matthew Caldwell come out on one play when Manning got knocked out of the game, threw a touchdown pass that was ruled incomplete on the field, but was overruled as a completion on the replay, which I disagreed with because his foot was coming up when he finally got control of the ball, and but they called the touchdown. Look at that, 24-14 halftime lead Mississippi State, 24 points by Texas in the fourth quarter. You're talking about a 31-21 lead going into the fourth quarter. It loses it. 46 pass attempts, too much in college football. Yeah, you're old school running the football then, because I like more passing. I do. But yeah, I get you. Sam, we're going to talk about rankings very, very soon. Yeah, we'll get to that, and I'll comment on that. But yeah, again, Mississippi State has lost 4 games in a row in the SEC. I mean, this is a team that has not won in the conference for a couple of years now, and it really is frustrating for this team. They're good. They're talented. I mean, they had a lead against Tennessee. They lost it. They had a lead again. I mean, they were driving against Florida late in the game. Bad coaching decision through a pick. In a game that they could have and should have won. This game, they should have beaten Texas. So the next 4 games for Mississippi State: Arkansas at Arkansas, home for Georgia, at Missouri, and then host Mississippi to end the year. The only one of the last 4 losses, Texas A&M, they lost 31-9. It wasn't close. So okay, they lose 41-34 to Tennessee when they had the lead late. They lost to 23-21 to Florida where they had the lead. Then they were driving in field goal range and pass call. Depot, you'd appreciate this. They threw a pass where the big, fat, 300-pound defensive lineman picked the ball off. It was like, where the hell was the guy throwing? But it's and then, of course, this game against Texas with the punt return. And even before the punt return, you knew that games are of momentum, and you could tell that this game was getting away from Mississippi State. But, hey, at least those fans in Starkville, can be happy. They actually have a team that's competing and playing much better than they have before. But it's got to stink as a fan base to lose that many games, lose 3 games all in the end of the game. It's just very difficult to stay with a team like that. It just, because you keep waiting to lose. How are we going to lose this week? Hey, Small Town Republic, good to see you. How are you tonight? Sark may go to the NFL. Well, you know what? He might as well, if he wants to try it, do it while he was a bit younger and stuff like that, and kick the tires on it. Would be interesting. Of course, it's coaching in college is not what it was before, as we all know, between the NIL, the portal, and many other things. Now you're recruiting every player every year again. And that is where it gets very, very difficult. Let's see. Okay, here we go. Let's see. Good to see you, Small Time, tonight. Go Auburn. Hey, Washington, 23rd ranked Illinois goes to Washington, loses on the road. Houston, another team that Chewy has talked about on our channel quite a bit. Watch out, BYU. And then the Big 12, Houston goes on the road, beats 24th ranked Arizona State 24-16 with this Connor Wegman for Houston, ran for 111 yards as a quarterback. That's interesting. Former Texas A&M player. Yeah, I hate the portal in NIL now. Yeah, although some people say that's how Vanderbilt teams like Vanderbilt are making up ground is that they have the with the NIL and the portal, but it's like unrestricted free agency every year. That's it's changing the face of the game and not for the good. That's the problem we have. Um, let's see. Of course, other action in the Big Ten. Nebraska beats Northwestern. Rutgers beats Purdue. Wake Forest holds off SMU in the ACC. Wake wins this game 13-12. Give them credit for winning this game at home. Kansas loses at home big time to Kansas State 42-17. Uh, Auburn, small town republic, first SEC win of the year. Of course, what's interesting is that this game featured a coaching change midway through the game. Auburn was down 21-10 at halftime, and Jackson Arnold was replaced by Ashton Daniels, who threw for 77 yards. Auburn ended up running the ball for 230 yards on the day, and really an interesting comeback. Arkansas once again loses another game. Bobby Petrino, will he get the permanent job? Who knows? It seems like everything was set up for that, but we'll see what happens after the end of the year. Auburn outscores Arkansas 23-3 in the second half to pull this game out. Give Auburn credit. I still think Auburn's a good team. I think that they're better than their record. I think between coaching mistakes and quarterback issues with Jackson Arnold, we see why he's not productive, especially with throwing the ball. And that's what got him benched at Oklahoma and had it again. One offensive TD. Wow. Let's take a look. Let's look at that real quick. But yeah, it's let's see. Yeah, it was because oh my gosh, yeah. Holy crap. Yeah, it was like 6 field goals and an interception returns. Yeah. And Jackson Arnold threw the one touchdown at the beginning of the game. So Auburn had a 10-0 lead actually in this game before they fell down 21-0. And let's see, Auburn touchdown pass, field goal, interception return, touchdown, field goal. Hey, at least you got a great kicker, though. That's a good thing. That's why you need a solid kicker. So, Chewy says that the Houston Cougars' rest of the schedule is not as tough, but their only remaining hurdle is TCU, and that would be the last game left in the regular season. The American as a whole is interesting. Navy this weekend goes back-to-back road trips at North Texas and Notre Dame. In the conference, I have no idea who can win it, but as long as some team can be ranked at the end, but that is somewhat high enough, you got to let them in as long as they have some quality wins. Yeah, I tell you, it'd be interesting to see Navy take out Notre Dame. It's happened before, but that would be a good shot in the arm for the American Conference and for Navy if they could do that. Yeah. I mean, of course, JT and I both agree we don't like Notre Dame, but so be it. They are Notre Dame. Looking at other games in the country, there's Iowa scored 41 points, beats Minnesota 41-3. Washington State killed Toledo 28-7. Looking at other games in there, really not much around the country. Utah crushes Colorado 53-7. Now, what about Coach Prime? Had a big splash last year with his son, his first year, then last year with his son quarterbacking the team, and now this year, definitely fallen off the charts is his Colorado team. Not what they were last year, with a losing record. Utah is a very good team. So good. I don't know. I mean, it kind of reveals is Coach Prime. Yeah, he had a good year last year, but is he a smoke and mirrors coach? Is he all talk and flash? Colorado didn't play for the league title last year. This year falling off badly. I don't know. I don't know what your thoughts are about Deion Sanders. He's been rumored for Florida's job or Florida State's job if it comes available. So, and by the way, Mike Norvell, Florida State, has been given the rest of the year at least to coach before they reevaluate everything in whole. So, Deeple said, I think more things are going to more pseudo pro. Yeah, contracts and stuff. The thing is, in the pros, though, you can have people under contract for multiple years. That's not happening in college, where the players can now just walk off. But so the schools can too. They can just decide, hey, they want to bring somebody else in. It is a two-way street. But now the players have more power. But the thing is, it's not what it was before, where you can rely on a player to stay with you, and the tradition means anything, which I think is also going to affect, by becoming more and more pro. It's going to affect the rivalries and stuff. It's going to affect like this weekend we got Florida Georgia come up, huge rivalry, huge rivalry, and they I don't know. Who knows? Will it mean the same in 10 years? Maybe not. Only to the generations where it was a big thing with the RVs by the stadium and everything. But let's see. Chewy said that Navy also has games against South Florida, Memphis, but Navy has yet to be tested. The way they play, they seem to be somewhat different than Navy teams of the past. Road games will tell us maybe a service academy to make a playoff. I'd love to see that. Let's have Navy make it. Let's that'd be kind of cool. Bring back the days of Roger Staubach. Yeah. Until there's collective bargaining, players will run roughshod. Yes, and you got also everything between state lines and cross state lines, and can you have unions? And that's been one of the talk about the NCAA. Everybody looks to them for legislation and guidance and rules, but their defense is looking at Congress. They need the antitrust exemption. Because so far, every time when it's come up, they've lost in court when they're challenged on rulemaking under the antitrust exemptions. So it's a big mess. But yes, we've got to get something. There's got to be the balance, because the players have too much power now. It's like Michigan got the $12 million quarterback. They really didn't get much production out of him this year. They're winning because of a soft schedule. But what's going to? It's 15, 18 million next year. We saw last year, we had our first holdout. Nico, I'm going to leave you with a threat to Tennessee saying, hey, I want more money right before practice and all. And which was interesting. They told him to pound sand and leave and didn't take him back. So he luckily found a place at UCLA. But, Nick Mangold, passed away. Yeah, the former Jets center. Yep. Oh man, let's see. So that's where we are for last week's games. In a nutshell, I'll update the picks next time when JT is with us. Let's take a quick look at the coaches poll, because I know there's interest there. And Sam brought up, we still have the Ohio State ranked number 1. It's typical. It's interesting. They're not unanimous in the AP poll. In the coaches poll this week, but Indiana picked up more first place votes with its convincing win over Indiana. And let's see, Indiana takes a tighter hold on the second slot. Texas A&M still third, no change in the top 6. Alabama, Georgia, Oregon. Ole Miss moves up 1. Georgia Tech. See, I hate this. Ole Miss beats Oklahoma. I guess they did beat the 13th rank, but Georgia Tech undefeated, and they fall a rank. This Georgia Tech team is fun with Haynes King. He's a Tebow-like quarterback, as well as Bear is at BYU, and I just love the things. Vanderbilt is 9th in this week's poll, and BYU 10th. Tied for 10th with Miami. Not even just 10th. I can understand why you're upset, Sam. this BYU team is a good team. This team deserves to be ranked a little bit higher, at least above Ole Miss or even Vanderbilt. But it all plays out. Like we talked about, sometimes polls are too early. What's the point of preseason polls and everything else like that? So we got Notre Dame still lurking at 12th. Would somebody please beat Notre Dame? The team that will not join a conference that plays a fairly weak schedule, but then magically they want to put them in the playoffs every year because what a following, Texas Tech at 13, which is a pretty good team, a really good team to watch. Tennessee, the Volunteers move up 3, 6-2. Let's see how they go. This is a team that could get squeezed out of the playoffs in the end because of their 2 losses, but we'll see what happens. Virginia, chasing up in the ACC, moves up 1 at the 15th. Louisville, Cincinnati, Oklahoma in the SEC is 18th. They fall 5 spots. Missouri falls 4 spots. There's a loss of Vanderbilt. Texas moves up 2. When we close, hey, you're Michigan, Depot. Yay, Michigan moves up 4. Yay, beating a hapless Michigan State team. When will Jonathan Smith be fired? We'll get JT's thoughts on that next time. Houston comes into the poll. USC, Utah, and Memphis all enter the top 25 in the AP poll. So that is where we are. Folks, any thoughts, comments on the top 10? I know that Sam said earlier that it was really a bad job with where BYU is ranked currently. It's and I agree with it. I mean, not that they would be higher. I don't put them over in Alabama or in Georgia, even with losses, but they definitely deserve to be ahead of Alabama, Vanderbilt, and Ole Miss. Let's take a quick look here at some of the conferences where things stand. We're going to look at the Big Ten and the SEC specifically. We got Indiana and Ohio State, of course. Now, Oregon has 3 4-1 teams, USC at 3-1. What happens if Indiana loses? But last week we looked at the schedule. It's not likely for Indiana or Ohio State to lose this year unless somehow Michigan trips up the Ohio State at the end of the season. I don't know. But we go. Here we go. 5-0, 4-0. These 2 teams should run the table and should meet in the SEC the Big Ten championship game. Yeah, small time. That's what they should be. 11-1 based on the schedule. Exactly. And we'll see. But then again, Lane Kiffin is known to lose some games he should win. What shocks me is Kirk Ferentz is still at Iowa. Iowa 4-1 in the conference, 6-2 overall. It just amazes me. In 8 games, 25 points. They're averaging 30-something points a game. This is not your normal Iowa team this year. They're actually able to score points. But still will probably be on the outside looking in because of the schedules of Indiana and Ohio State that remain. So, JT looked this last week. Wisconsin, Purdue, Michigan State, Penn State, all still winless in the conference. Yeah, we'll take a look at this week's games. Rutgers, Maryland, Illinois. What a disappointment. A team that started with high promises has fallen to a very pedestrian team. And, of course, UCLA is in the middle of the pack with their 3-win streak early, but 3-5 overall. So here we go. Hey, that's your Big 10. I keep calling them Big 10, Big 12. I want to call them. We could call them Big 18. So let's take a look at the SEC real quick. We got A&M and Alabama. Alabama again losing that first game of the season with against FSU has really righted the ship. They win at Georgia. It's funny. A couple weeks ago, I was at a wedding up in Georgia, and the Georgia fans were like, "Kirby's smart." It was about that field goal, not kicking that field goal. So, of course, yeah, that would be interesting with Ole Miss. If Ole Miss goes 11-1, it'd be interesting because Georgia could face a Georgia Tech team at the end of the year that could actually beat them. Imagine if that happens. And the game is in Atlanta this year, I believe, in a neutral site, so not at Bobby Dodd Stadium. So, but so Ole Miss, Vanderbilt. That's the shock. Hades has frozen over with Vanderbilt at that level. Could you imagine if A&M or Alabama lose? What would the world be like if Vanderbilt made the SEC championship game? It's like, maybe whatever. Vanderbilt fans enjoy it because I still don't think Vanderbilt will last. Clark Lee will leave, as all Vanderbilt coaches do, and it will be rebuilt. And after Diego Pavia, they'll be weak again. Although, we said transfer portal and NIL has changed the way college football operates. Looking down, Tennessee is way in the middle of the pack. Missouri, Oklahoma, Florida, of course. After this will be the first game this week without Billy Napier. Looking forward to that. I'm excited to watch that game. LSU, really disappointing, falling off just ahead of the Auburn Tigers. South Carolina, major disappointment this year. Mississippi State could actually be much higher. Could be one of the 3-1 teams if they could close out the games. We could have had wins over Tennessee and Texas. Of course, Kentucky and Arkansas close at the bottom. Look at the bottom. South Carolina lost 3 in a row, lost 4 for Mississippi State, lost 6 by Arkansas, and 4 in a row by Kentucky. So, yeah, Pavia is perfect for Vandy's ball control offense. Yeah. But I tell you, he's perfect for it, but there still is he can produce some excitement. So, call it the Big North. Yeah, the Big Ten. There's really 2 major conferences: the Big North, the Big Ten, and the SEC. And the SEC is the Big South. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. All right. So we'll go that. So that's where the standings happen in the SEC. We'll take this week, and this one. Unlike the Big Ten, where I think it's set between Indiana and Ohio State, this week it's the SEC has some wiggle room. A&M could lose when they play Texas. It's possible, may not be likely. It just depends. You never know in rivalry games. Alabama still has to play at Auburn. I believe the game is at Auburn. I still think this Auburn team is not as bad as their record indicates. I don't know why they're underperforming. I don't know. I can't tell you. But I think it's a team that, really looked good when it started the year. But and they're looking very pedestrian and average against some not necessarily the best of the SEC either. Let's take a look at Auburn in a second real quick. Let me look at the schedule. Let me look back at the schedule real quick. I have one more, and we'll look at next week's games coming up briefly, and then we'll close up. Let's see. Yeah. Auburn beats Baylor 38-24, Ball State 42-3, South Alabama 31-15. Okay. You probably could see some warning signs with that Ball State and South Alabama when you're scoring 31-42, but lose by a touchdown at Oklahoma. That's respectable. They lost at Texas A&M only by 6. They lost to Georgia by 10, which, of course, folks, the play that was overruled and called a fumble when the ball crossed the goal line that could have given Auburn a 17-0 lead before halftime. Of course, Missouri, they lose by 6. This team it's got to be frustrating as an Auburn fan, knowing your team is this close, because they should have beat the home game against Missouri was a win. The game you challenge A&M on the road and you only have 10 points. Georgia, a lot of people contend, was stolen away from them by the officials, which one of the SEC officials now has, I'll pull that article up in a minute, has been banned from SEC games going forward for the results of many games, not just the Georgia game. Yeah. Auburn has to combat with Hugh Freeze, the refs. Okay. Oh gosh, I never thought about that way with Billy Napier in terms of the team having to combat its own coach. That is interesting. I love the way you phrase that, small town republic. I love the way you phrase that. That is hilarious. I'd combat with the head coach the rest of the opponent every week. That is that tickles me. That tickles me very much so. All righty. Oh, Mrs. sent me something for a future stream, but I had to take a look at that. But yeah, that's an interesting way to put it. Or you could actually throw your quarterback in it too, whether he can throw the football. That's always a crapshoot. But Auburn has Kentucky, home to Kentucky. They're at Vanderbilt. They have Mercer and Alabama. So best of case this year, 6-6, with wins over Kentucky and Mercer. Still, they could upset Vanderbilt. And I'll tell you what, I still do not put them out against Alabama. I mean, Alabama's gotten hot, so this is not the Alabama team I thought it would be at the beginning of the year. So, Alabama definitely has the edge at this point, but I don't think you could rule out Auburn out being at home in a rivalry game. So, all right, well, let's take a look from there. We talked about Auburn Tigers. Let me take a look. Let's see one. Chewy had mentioned the American Conference. Yeah, Navy is running away. Navy's a lead of that 5-0, with Tulane at 3-0. There was an article that I read that had a possibility of a group of 5 teams making it, where one would be in. I think they were talking about Memphis. Well, now with Navy, if they could win out, they'd be undefeated if they could get ranked high. But then again, Navy's not ranked, I think, in the top 25. So that's the problem. I think the hope was Memphis being ranked and moving up, and then you could actually pull in a second Power 5 team. But hey, it's stinks. Hey, Temple's 5-3. Yay, that's something to think about. God, some of these schools that are now major level college football, I laugh. All right, let's take a look. Let's take a look real quick since I did that. Let's take a real quick look at the Atlantic Coast Conference. We got Georgia Tech and Virginia undefeated, which I don't think. I think both of those teams will have at least one loss this year. Yeah, tough schedule remaining. It's all about scheduling this time of the year. Georgia Tech, Virginia will be. I think one or both of those will lose a game, but look at all those one-loss teams behind it. But the class of the team in the ranks is Miami Hurricanes, and once again, they may not make the championship game, even though they're in the top 10. But the whole thing is making the playoffs, folks. That's what you want. Make the playoffs. So, what was that? So, all right, and let's take a look at the Big 12 real quick since I've looked at the others. And, of course, the great BYU Cougars are on top at 5-0. Same with Cincinnati. Texas Tech and Houston are right behind it with one loss. And I tell you what, folks, this year with looking beyond the SEC, I've enjoyed watching Big 12 football a bit more. I've actually seen more of it than before, and it's actually pretty entertaining. I mean, these are really good teams, and Texas Tech had a problem with when they lost their quarterback for the one loss. Otherwise they would probably be undefeated and still, in line for the conference championship game. But right now it's BYU and Cincinnati at this point, and see, even Iowa State's pretty good, although they're 5-3 now. It's funny how the season changes and it goes down. Some of these teams are struggling now. They started the year off good. But BYU, Cincinnati, we'll see. And what Chewy had said earlier, see if what he thinks happens. All right, folks, we're going to take a look at the games coming up this week. It begins on Friday night, top 25. Memphis is at Rice, 7 o'clock. North Carolina, Syracuse at 7:30 on ESPN. As we go down, starting off the day is a glorified exhibition. No, I mean, this is a game that everybody had pinned in about 4 weeks ago. Penn State at Ohio State would have been a battle of two top 10 teams, or number one, number two, but it's not. Watch 12 o'clock on Fox. We'll see what the sacrificial score ends up being. I mean, it's a case of a sad event, of what had happened with this team. In the course of 15 days, fall from number 2 to out of the polls and fire your head coach. Oh, God. Don't start a war, Dave. And Ohio State. Oh, you're too funny. All right. This game should be interesting. Vanderbilt goes on the road at Texas in Austin, Texas. Austin is a really difficult place to play. Looks like a fun place to be for a football game. It's a 12 noon kickoff. Diga Pavia against Texas's defense. Arch Manning, will he repeat, have a good performance like he did against Mississippi State? This game, I don't. This game, I'm torn on between the two of them. Texas is at home. Vanderbilt's on the road. I think I'd have to go for Texas in this. I won't emotionally Vanderbilt. I really would like Vanderbilt to win this game and continue the madness, but I just don't see them winning in Austin. It's a difficult place to play. Sam said, we get a week off. Yay. Yes, exactly. Finally, a week off. Your kids will be disappointed. I can't wait for this week's televised practice. Absolutely. Well, it'll be a good one. Navy's doing well. I'm worried about the Army game. Don't worry. Army. Don't worry. Y'all got that in the bag. But hey, that's coming up after after Thanksgiving and in December. Looking down the list, you got. I'm not going to cover all these. West Virginia is at 22nd ranked Houston. Houston's still in range for a Big 12 championship game appearance if things break with Cincinnati or Baylor. West Virginia is only a shadow of its former self as a Big 12 member. Tickets as low as $90. Yeah, it's crazy. I wonder how. That is cheap. That's a cheap. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I was looking at Georgia tickets earlier this year, and like almost $200 for the friggin' Kentucky game. Fallout Dave, Gators get the whole season off. Not this week. I am actually excited. You missed it earlier. I am excited for this week's Florida Georgia game. I got somebody to watch it with, and I'm actually going to enjoy seeing what Billy Gonzalez does with this team. He's back. He was on Urban Meyer's staff in the mid-2000s, and I'm curious to see what kind of game coach he will be. He's already made changes of staff on around of who coaches what and where they're going to be on the field or off the field or up in the box. Going through these other games, Duke at Clemson of note. Army plays at Air Force. We got a military academy game this week, 12 o'clock, where nobody watches on, but it looks like it's a CBS game. Just we'll see. Navy is at North Texas at 12 o'clock on ESPN2. Arizona State, Iowa State at 1 on TNT. Yes, we're starting to get into the TNT and those other games, other channels. HBO Max, yes. So, world's largest outdoor cocktail party. It used to be known as the world's largest outdoor cocktail party, but people got weenie-whiny about it. The schools hated the image, and so they changed it. So, yeah, it's the world's largest outdoor cocktail party. Oh, buddy slipped in. You fly out here and go to a game for the same price, just tickets alone there. Hey, buddy, good to see you. How are you doing tonight? Good to see you. All right, let's see. Louisville, 16 ranked, is at Georgia Tech on the CW network. Dan Mullen, the head coach at UNLV, is having a very good year this year. I think he's one of the few undefeated teams. New Mexico goes to UNLV at 3 o'clock. Number 2 ranked Indiana is at Maryland. My game of the week, number 5 Georgia is playing the Florida Gators on ABC at 3:30 in the world. What was used to be known as the world's largest outdoor cocktail party. and maybe I'll come back if show some pictures before we leave with that. What see this game has changed over the years, and I think Fallout Dave may know it because he knows the downtown now what they've been doing with all the stadium renovations, road reworks, and stuff. They've taken out so much of what made it good because they used to have thousands of RVs there. People pull in on Monday morning and park and camp the whole week under the overpasses and stuff. Well, they now have much less RV capacity than they used to have because of the Jaguars and other things over the years. It's changed in nature, and it's feeling like it's losing its luster. It really does. It's because what made it great was everybody 50-50 stadium. They still have that, but that tailgating, the people downtown and stuff, and it just seems like it's losing its shine over the years, and that's sad. There's talk about the game going home and home at some point, and it's sad to say that I could almost say okay, because this was all growing up was always special. It took over downtown. It was the game, but the city has changed so much that I don't know. As a Gator fan, you sort of wonder maybe we should have that extra home game, but it's still nice. These two teams to come together in a neutral site. It's a neutral site until Georgia loses and they start whining that they get their ass kicked every year and have to go back north. It's so funny how that happens. Dave says it'd take a lot to have any faith in the football program again. Losing seems to have been the goal of the last decade. Yeah, I know, and it's called apathy. That is not a good thing. Well, how do you mean Army Air Force game already getting talked up? What are you hearing, Sam, about that? What are you hearing? Because that's interesting. I know the military academies. We already had one earlier. I think it was Navy and Air Force, I think, earlier this year. But yeah, how's it getting talked up? What kind of excitement? Because Army's not necessarily the best team. Air Force is not too bad. So some of it's the changes in location, but I think changes in college football are more to blame. Greed is the only motivation. Players' rivalries become meaningless. And don't forget the schools, too. The schools in there cutting the checks and stuff like that and making sure they have enough home games. This game has a lot of memories. I don't know. Maybe I'll do a special stream with it later this week. I don't know. I just don't have time tonight or the energy to go and probably, because I tell you, this is such a special game by itself. It is historic. It has so many memories. I don't know. Maybe I'll figure out a Friday night. Maybe I'll do a stream Friday night or before it, or maybe Saturday morning. I don't know. But this game deserves to be talked about as a Gator fan by itself, or even a Georgia fan. 44-0. Herschel Walker jumping over the top. Kerwin Bell to Ricky Natil, 24-3 win for the first time, storming the field. And the next year, Georgia tries to storm the field, and you got cops everywhere. So there's a lot to this game. So we'll see what happens with that. Sam said the Air Force Army game played in Colorado Springs, Air Force Academy town. It means the crowd's going to be mixed between the two, so it should be a pretty vocal game. Yeah, there you go. And Sam, I'm curious. You know how Army, Navy, they have the cadets marching in, like in that game? Do they do the same when Air Force and Army play? Do they have the big, massive cadets like they bring to the Army, Navy game? Or is it maybe the visiting team only brings a few? I'm curious about that. And Sam, I'm going to tell you, if you have the availability and want to talk about it, I can send you the link. I know you're busy. I know you got the little one there, and I know this is last minute. Don't feel pressure to have to come on. But if it's something you would like to talk about, I can send you the link and have you come on for a couple of minutes because I'm getting ready to wrap up anyway in a few. But no, I'd like to hear more about how these service academies meet because we always focus on the Army, Navy, like it's the only one. But you got Navy, Air Force, you got Army, Air Force. There's several other combinations. So, but yeah, I'm going to be excited for Florida, Georgia this week. I'm going to enjoy it. We got 12th ranked Notre Dame and Boston College at 3:30. Also, Notre Dame should win that one easily. Michigan State, Texas Tech 13 ranked plays at Kansas State on Fox. Probably another walkaway game. Michigan State, how long, much longer will Jonathan Smith be employed by Michigan State? Is at Minnesota on the Big Ten Network where nobody will see it. Pittsburgh at Stanford in the ACC game. I still laugh at Atlantic Coast Conference on the West Coast. Looking at to Virginia is at California. Watch California upset Virginia in this game. Virginia's played a lot of close games. One at home against Washington State. The other was on the road against a bad North Carolina team. I think Virginia definitely goes down this week on the road out west. Mississippi State, Arkansas, the battle of the loser teams. One of them will finally win a conference game this week. How about that? That would be interesting to see. But the question is, which one wins? Which one wins? And that's the thing is, who wins? Mississippi State, Arkansas. I could see Arkansas winning this game, but I can Mississippi State too. They've had a good offense this year. They played well. South Carolina and Ole Miss at 7:00. Lane Kiffin continued to, like Small Time said earlier, that this Ole Miss team, should be able to run the table. We should have said, no, I know, Sam. Thank you, though. But hey, anything you can type in the chat, please feel free to do it. But yeah, like I said, Sam, do they march in the cadets with as many cadets like in an Army-Navy game? That's something I was curious about this matchup. Purdue, Boiler Up, toot toot, is on the road at 21 ranked Michigan at 7:00 on Big Ten Network. Arizona's at Colorado. Georgia Tech, 8th ranked Georgia Tech goes on the road at NC State in a night game. Night game of the SEC, Oklahoma, 18th ranked at 14th ranked Tennessee. Wow, it's $246. Wow. I see the Heupel train continuing with this game. Aguilar is playing well as a quarterback, throwing the ball. It's a traditional Heupel open offense, and I think a lot of Tennessee fans are happy. Unfortunately, they had the one choke game they did, and then the disappointing loss at home, though, Georgia. That was a game that they let slip away that they should have had. But I'd still take Tennessee at home with this game. USC at Nebraska. I still take USC on the road. They just come off another road performance where they dominated. I would say USC wins this game. Sorry to Raph of Erica and Raph. I know you're Nebraska fans, but yeah. Oh, you don't think they do? Oh, crap! I hate when you move a mouse and it does something. Sam says basically there are already 2 Army bases in the Air Force Academy. There's going to be a lot of Army at the Air Force game. They don't think they bring as many cadets. They do spotlight in military child from the community, invite them and the whole family to come on the field to meet the players. Oh, that's cool. Cool. That is interesting. So, yeah, it's just interesting to see how they do Army Navy. I just was curious about that. Kentucky is at Auburn, small time Republic. Your guys should win this game. Hopefully they win it easily, but I never know. Kentucky had some offense this last week. Sadly they didn't have enough defense to stop Tennessee. Of course, Kentucky had the choke against Texas 2 weeks ago. Especially running right up the middle several times on the goal line in overtime, and just what a shame they lost that game. And of course, Mark Stoops is also on a hot seat now. So, how many more coaching jobs will open up? Speaking of coaching jobs, Oregon State is open. Maybe I hope Jonathan Smith gets fired at Michigan State. I would take him back at Corvallis because I tell you what, they need a legitimate head coach. And he is a legitimate head coach. What's happened there, the Beavers, is unlike Washington State, who has done well becoming independent and gotten good players and a good coaching staff, and they're actually a good team. They've had several close losses the last few weeks. Oregon State hadn't. Oregon State just stinks. They're bad. And it's just bad. But maybe next year. Wake Forest is at Florida State. This could be a very, very ugly game. If Florida State plays down to Wake Forest, whose offense is more anemic than Iowa's used to be, uh, Iowa, with this game, Wake Forest could make this game ugly. Maybe there could be an upset. Florida State's lost at home already this year. We'll see with this game, but I figure FSU will probably win this game over Wake Forest. Of course, the last big game of the week is 17th ranked Cincinnati at Utah. As Chewy pointed out, the stakes are big in the Big 12. Cincinnati is undefeated so far this game, and Utah is at home. They are a good team. If Utah wins at home, Cincinnati's one loss. You only have one undefeated team left, which is BYU. And then with several one-loss teams in the Big 12, you got to fight for whoever's in second place to get that second slot in the championship game. All right. Well, that is it for the games for next week. What's coming up? That should be wonderful. So, okay, let's see. And the Air Force has typically been the redheaded stepchild of the Commander's Cup. They just don't get as much attention. Well, because they never stay relevant. They were only relevant with Fisher DeBerry, but even then, they never seem to win enough games to. It's always Army Navy winning. So, and then you guys leave out the poor Coast Guard. There's the Coast Guard Academy that play football. Yeah, and they should feel. And you got to fight for your right to party. Yay! All right, folks. Hey, we're going to end it there on that note. Like I said, if I decide feel like it, I might do a Florida Georgia special again, but it'll be later in the week. I'm not sure. We'll see how that goes. Just there's so much to the Florida Georgia game that I did last year or the year before with Ang, my kid. It's really a fun show tonight. Oh, thank you. Yes, thank you, Deeple. I appreciate that. I'm glad you guys were here. Thank y'all, everybody that's here. Yeah, I will tell Kirk he was missed, but like I said, thank you for your support. Keep coming. We appreciate it. Tomorrow night, I'll be live at 8 o'clock with Wes Cagle. We go West Dadman. We will, and on Thursday night, I will be back with my friend Anna. Anna's Gameland with Get Over It at 8 o'clock on Thursday night. So yeah, I understand. There's a lot of stuff. Oh, until he gets revived and search for JT Kirk. That's awesome. That's cool. I'm going to go for about another 2 minutes because then we're at an hour 30. So, folks, there's a lot breaking in college football. There are big issues. But the biggest thing this year is with these coaching changes and coaching carousels. And there's still several of these coaches that are out there on the hot seat. Even somebody like Dabo Sweeney at Clemson, as long as he's been around, as long as he's won national titles, he's still on a hot seat this year. So, I don't know what she has planned. So we shall see what the topic will be for this week. So, it's always a surprise. You never know what you're going to get with Anna around, and that is fun. Of course, let me see. That's what I got coming up. Of course, Monday's Fortnite with Jess also. So right now I'm doing a lot of pretty planned schedule stuff with that. There could be more streams in the next few weeks with the missus gone, who's leaving Sunday. Remember, tomorrow morning, it's not Fallout. It's Fortnite. It's not Fallout. It's Fortnite. No, I need to talk to the missus again, and I need to get back with you because of a timing. Because I'm going to do the one show early, and then based on what I think you reminded me of, the time was going to be later at night. So I'm known to be the Iron Horse of streaming sometimes when I'm healthy, but we will see. Sam, hope I don't starve. I'm not into that game. I mean, Fallout shares don't starve as other people's games. But, I appreciate y'all being here tonight. And thank you for everything. And I'll say, go Gators for this week. Dun, 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 dun. Go Gators. Let's ruin Georgia's season. That's what we need to do. Because that's the history of the Florida Georgia series is, hey, if they can't win, if I can't win, I'm going to ruin your season. Among Us. Mrs. has played Among Us, I think, before. I don't know. I'd have to get in. That is a neat game. I've just never streamed it before, so we'll see. Jess is reminding Monday will be a new Fortnite season. Simpsons mini season starts on Saturday. So maybe there could be a random Fortnite this weekend or something at some point. Depot yells, "Go Buckeyes!" Yeah. Oh gosh. Sam said, "Don't starve together. It's a stressful day. I never want to play again." My sister-in-law talked me into it. Oh, that's Dave said, "LOL." I mean, without the Mrs. making food, not the game. No, she's left me pretty well supplied. There's going to be food. It's like she said on her stream earlier today, as the oldest woke up, and she said the oldest is old enough to make their own food. So there you go. Hey, I'm on my own, Dad Man, for a few weeks. Wow, we got 14 of y'all still with us tonight. 11 on the YouTube side. Thank y'all so much. Of 3 I've held on the Twitch side. Thank you for participating on Twitch side. Make sure you follow me over there if you haven't. And if you're on the YouTube side, make sure you're subscribed, because you get unsubscribed many, many times. And, it's just... you go up, down, because I was at 744, 741, 743 now. Yeah, I'd like to hit the 750 so we can have a big party. So we get to 750, we will definitely have a big party and have some fun with it. To celebrate things. Anything for a party for me. I always love the parties and streams, and because I cannot wait for New Year's this year, and have the 24-hour stream, actually 26-hour stream. Again, trying to make it all around the world would be wonderful. Again, especially this year. Oh my gosh. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Okay, give me a second. I stumbled across something, but I need to be careful how I bring this over. Well, see, Wade needs to stay here a little bit longer. And somebody else had mentioned it. Let me see here. Okay, yeah, everything's covered. All right. Oregon State needs a new coach. They fired their head coach. I want Jonathan Smith, but people have joked about this. Ed Orgeron. Remember Ed Orgeron? I'm there occasionally. Thank you. Go Tigers. That guy. I wish I could play you that one commercial without getting hit by YouTube. Well, Wade has also talked about Oregon State hiring Ed Orgeron. Well, guess what? Somebody came up with a meme. Orgeron State. Orgeron State. Hey, I'd take him as a head coach there. Yes, the Hummer commercial. Deeple, the Hummer commercial. And yes, the Hummer commercial, folks. I'm going to find that Hummer commercial and put it out there for everybody to watch. I'll tag some people and you see it there. And then here, Ed Orgeron. I'm thinking I'm more money to buy me own G bag. I know everyone's going to each year. Go Tigers. Yes. God, I love it. Small Time say Newsweek is reporting Orgeron wants the job. We have willed it. Yes, that would be wonderful. I would take it. Dude, I will tell you, he won a championship at LSU. There's some things about his ethics, but in the modern NIL, who cares? And transfer portal. This one thing about this guy that I really love is where he is. He's dedicated to the job. He loves the school. He puts his heart and soul into it. I mean, he went from Ole Miss and then at LSU. It was always go Tigers. Even if he went on the football field, it was always go Tigers. There's just something nice about this guy that is really neat. So but he said, son, the day I can't women's ASS is the day I don't get out of bed. Oh, the local sports shows uses a bumper for the Hummer commercial. Yeah. The radio show. Yeah. Oh, and Sam, family history commercials during the BYU Utah game. That was kind of cool. Having the audio is even better. So, oh my God. Let's see. Oh yeah, Sam, your husband, Sergeant Dad, is really good at cook. Yeah, time zones don't count. Yeah, like UCLA, like quarter hours and all them. Yeah, we got that. So you want Coach Sidney Sweeney as always. Yep. Oh, no, Jess misses. If you're still here, the Kia's retiring the Soul. Oh my gosh, no, our little car through the mountains. But hey, Florida Panhandle riders, good to see you tonight.
Still here, but what?
Oh, she walked. Jess just said, speaking of commercials, Kia's retiring the Soul.
No! Okay, we're gonna have to go buy a new one.
You better go find spare parts and everything while you can get it. Oh, jeez. Anyway, I love that car.
I do too.
I know, but all right. And welcome, Florida Panhandle riders. Good to see you. Don't know how long you've been here, but hey, watch it before. Usually JT Kirk's here with me as my co-host. He wasn't able to make it tonight. And hey, there you go. Roll Tide. We got another Tide fan in here. We got some Auburn fans. We got some Tide fans. Hey, we'll have all kinds of people in here before you know it. But hey, great to see you tonight with us. Yeah. Sam said, Mrs. Dadman's misbehaving. That's what you keep an eye on him. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Oh my goodness. So folks, like Orgeron State, I like I said, that was really, I'm like, I got to check this out though, real quick. It's just, but well, I tell you, in terms of Alabama news, it's really impressive how, the season's turned around after the first loss against FSU, and how FSU has fallen off the planet. Whatever that Tice for Heisman. Go Nads, Rochester. So, oh yeah, they sent us that one little new bar, to keep it secure. But hey, it's not. Yeah, yeah. People funny, but not funny. Yeah, and we talked about it. One article that holy crap, one of the reports I saw was speculating there could be as many as 40 coaching changes this year. We got 3 in the SEC between Arkansas, LSU, and Florida, and it's the question is who gets the best coaches? With so many firings, does Lane Kiffin leave Ole Miss? I mean, there's so much in doubt. And hell to you, Wes Cagle. Good to see you tonight, dude. How are you doing? Yeah, so I mean, but I think this is also a product of the NIL and the transfer portal. When you see teams like Indiana and Vanderbilt in the top 10, schools like LSU and Florida that are used to being dominating schools playing for titles, you don't need 3 and 4 years to build programs to become a winner. You don't need to take that long like you used to. And I think it's a sign of the times of, well, we talked about how much more college athletics is becoming like pro sports. And I think in this case too, look how how short the lifespan of a coach is in the NFL and how often they fire coaches there. Gone are the days, unless you're a big, even Dabo Swinney has pressure on him up at Clemson, and he's won national titles. It's what have you done for me lately? I mean, you're gonna, the days of the Bobby Bowdens, the Nick Saban was probably one of the last ones that stayed somewhere for a long time, and look, he got out. At the time, it's become more of an issue. Dabo's like a senior coach. Kirby Smart is probably one of the few that could stay where he is for 30 years, 40 years, whatever, however long he wants to stay. Otherwise, it's all transitory nowadays. We're not going to have the Bobby Bowdens, the Joe Paternos, the Tom Osborne's anymore, and it's sad. Like we're losing a lot of our key matchups. I know the SEC now going to 9 conference games. I'm going to miss playing Tennessee. I'm going to miss calling the inbreds and stuff like that, and just because they were a natural team I like to hate, and it's a different game, and either you adjust and watch it as is, or you find other things to do. So yeah, exactly. That's a case of a loss turning a season around. because it really lit a fire, and that's good. You hate losing a game, and at least with the new system with the playoffs, it does not It does not mean your season's over. Yeah. So, yes, sir. NIL for sure. Good to see Saban trying to get it organized to help the players across college football. Brenda QB. OSU just won a national championship with Rena QB. Yeah, exactly. Ohio State did. I mean, that's happening everywhere. So, thank you, Wes Cagle. Yeah, 7 more. We need it. We need it. Yeah. And expansion is killing the rivalries. Absolutely. Absolutely. And the commitments to playing these games so much. Yes, Small Town Republic is right. Newsweek, former LSU head coach wants to take over Pac-12 school report. Former LSU Tigers head coach Ed Orgeron reportedly wants a coaching gig at Oregon State as the school is opening and could use a leader to take them in a new direction. He led LSU to a title to be replaced by Brian Kelly. He's not taken another job since leaving LSU, but he wants to coach again. So I'm shocked by this. I have this, but you know what? As an Oregon State fan, I'm for it. I mean, unless Jonathan Smith comes back, who else are you going to hire? Trent Bray, a former player, did not work out. 0-7 this season after bad years. But Orgeron, and that's why I say Orgeron, I'd like him at Oregon State as an Oregon State fan, but I would not like him at Florida. It's two different things. So, but he's actually willing to take any job. Well, not any job. He wants on the best thing that's available, but he's ready to coach again. So I don't see how they can do it, honestly, because it's already bleeding over to the right, almost up against the NFL playoffs with the postseason. It just, I would not be in favor of that. I don't think it's good. I don't think it's good. The season's long enough already. If you can't win it in 12 games, then. And we got college basketball starting very soon. By the way, our friend Sam and her BYU team is the only team that has a team in both college and basketball's top 10 team. So, hey, Pete Davidson. Hey, Drake. I don't know. We're focusing on the upper levels today, but good to see you, Pete Davidson. Hope you're doing well. Drake, well, I prefer college over the NFL. So how's that? Give me 1 second. So all right, folks. Well, on that note, I'm going to say goodnight, and y'all have a good time. I've got to get to bed, but yeah, why do you prefer college over? Because that's been my history. Is more for the college football. So, on that note, everybody have a good night. Y'all have a good day, and we will catch you next time. See you tomorrow night at 8 with Wes Cagle. Bye, everybody.